I'm back again. My return to YouTube seemed short-lived because we've been on the illness train all winter long. Have you been on the illness train all winter long? I want to thank you for my return to YouTube video. So many of you left amazingly beautiful, supportive comments, and I'm trying to get back to all of you, and I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for your kind encouragement and love. I want to have a heart-to-heart today. I'm into heart-to-hearts these days. I wish you could come over and sit at my table. There's a certain group of people, you might qualify as this, or you might feel like, wow, this really speaks to me, who've been on my heart for the last couple of months, especially during Christmas time. I was praying for you, I was thinking of you, and that is the women out there of any age, stage, season of life who feel like their life is stalled out. You feel like your life is just at a standstill and everyone else's lives are in motion, advancing in some sort of way. I want to have a heart-to-heart with you today. You've been on my heart a lot. I have very close friends who have shared deeply with me about that this is the place that they feel that they are in their life. And I think Christmas time can really magnify that. Singles I talked to, we had a single guy friend who was here at Christmas time, who expressed how hard it is that everybody's lives have changed and transformed because most of his friends have gotten married and had children. And at Christmas time, they are with their new family and their children instead of their parents. And he was talking about how he's with his parents and how that's beautiful, yet very challenging in its own way. And so I was thinking of you at Christmas time, if you feel like, man, my life, I'm gonna start to cry talking about this because it's, I've just been thinking about you a lot because the disappointment of this can be very real. Just looking around, like at Christmas time especially, I know it's February now, but looking maybe year after year, December, and you think everybody's lives look different than they did last year or the year before or when we were in high school or college, and mine looks the exact same. And the pain of that, and the heartbreak of that, and the disappointment of that in that season of feeling like, wow, my life looks the same, and that lie that the enemy speaks to you, that you are behind, that you are behind everyone else, as if life is a race. Life is about advancing forward. I think part of the problem is that we live in an announcement culture. Social media has made it so that it feels like everyone is making an announcement all the time about this, that, and whatever. I do it in my own life. When I am about to have a baby, I make a post saying we are having a new baby, right? In May of 2024. I share in that. I share the news of our family. And so we live in this announcement culture where a lot of social media is people announcing things all of the time. And sometimes it can feel very overwhelming in your life, or you start to feel and you hear those lies of the enemy, like you're a total loser because you have nothing to announce, right? That is the lie of the enemy. The enemy is the one saying that to you. Look at all these people. Look at all these announcements that they're making, and your life is the same. And what does that cause women to feel, right? When they think, my life is the same and everybody else has an announcement to make and I don't have an announcement to make. It makes you feel less than, it makes you feel unworthy, it makes you feel broken down, and that's exactly where the enemy wants women. Downtrodden, broken down, and maybe even in despair about the way their life is turning out versus the lives of everybody else that they see, right? The highlight reel of everybody that they see. And so this announcement culture that we live in has exacerbated the problem of, so many women I speak to sitting at home saying, like, nothing, like I have nothing going on. I've worked the same job. I, haven't had a date with a good man in 4, 5, 6 years. Like, I have nothing special to announce. Right? This spirit of competition and life being a race is not of God. It is the enemy who puts this pressure on us, who is the one who sneaks in to say, look at everybody else's lives. Look at that. They're all advancing. They're all moving forward, and you are just stuck like your wheels are spinning in the mud. That's the voice of the enemy who wants you to be in despair and sorrowful and hopeless about the way that your life is turning out. I wrote a letter specifically about this in my book, about feeling like you're behind, about this competition and race that sometimes it can feel life turns into. If this is something that you struggle with, this letter is going to be for you. I hope it speaks to you. I want to read a little part of it. I don't want to spoil the analogy that came to me that, took shape in looking at this in our lives. There's an analogy that I just ask you, like invite you to sit with and imagine. This is letter 19 in the book. You'll have to read the book to see what I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil it for you. Spoilers aren't that fun. So I talk about the race of life, right? And the pressure as a woman to reach life's milestones. But I talk about these life milestones, right? And how the enemy sneaks in to use these life milestones to cause women to just look around at everybody else. Look at the milestones they're reaching, right? The pressure of these milestones, graduations, careers, boyfriends, fiancés, husbands, children, pay raises, home ownership. The list goes on and on and on. So what I do in this letter is I really thought long and hard about this. Why is this such a struggle for us as women looking around and really looking at the facade of competition that the enemy kind of has built over time, right? In the lives of women. It's not God who says, you need to reach these milestones, this, and this. It is God who says, I have given you a unique life, a unique blueprint for your life that doesn't look like anybody else's. And that's the beauty of it, right? Is it okay to be disappointed sometimes in that blueprint? Yes, it's a very real feeling. But when we move toward hopelessness and despair, that's the work of the enemy in your life. And writing about this, like, it just brought so much clarity. Like, oh my gosh, I felt like that writing every letter in my book. I would start writing and be like, oh my gosh, it all makes sense. It all makes sense. If this is you, I just want to speak to your heart. If this is you and you feel like, man, I get up every day, everything is stalled out, God is using you today. God is using you right now. If your heart is beating, feel that heartbeat. If your heart is beating, you are awake and alive and beautiful things are happening in your life right now. Your life is moving forward because every single day is a gift. And these words don't solve the disappointment. They don't solve the problem. I'm not going to pretend or act like they do. But I just want to remind you that God is at work in you. He's at work in your heart. He's at work in your life. And the timeline of your life, it is a construction, right? This idea of a timeline from the enemy to cause you to feel hopeless, to cause you to feel despair, so that you just lay down and say, forget all of it, instead of getting up every day and saying, look, it might not be turning out the way that I had hoped, right? Real feeling, sit with that. It might not be turning out the way that I had planned. Real feeling, sit with that. But I'm alive. And I'm going to be awake to the glory of God and what He's doing, even when it feels like I'm spinning my tires in the mud. I will be aware that He is doing something new. That's why I want to share Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19 with you. See, I am doing something new. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? In the wilderness, I make a way, in the wasteland, rivers. And that's what I want you to maybe meditate on, take with you today. See, I am doing something new. Do you not perceive it? And I love His mercies are new every morning. God is always doing something new. Your wheels aren't stuck in the mud. He is using you and forming you and shaping you for all that lies ahead. And you don't have to wait for all that lies ahead. You can live in the glory of God today. Here, now. I want you to believe in how loved you are, how seen you are, and how known you are by God in the midst of this. I hope you enjoy letter 19, and I hope it brings clarity for you in this struggle and the ways that the enemy tries to get this struggle to destroy your life and destroy your confidence and destroy your belief in your worth as a woman and as a person. That's all. So if you haven't pre-ordered your book, I'm going to leave the link down there for the ebook if you're all over the world and you want to do it that way, or the hard copy, which will be with you so soon. If you couldn't tell by me crying, my heart is with you and my heart is for you. And I just want to sit with you and give you a hug if this is something you're struggling with today, in this season, in the here and now. You're so seen. You're so loved by our good and gracious God. that's all for today. Talk to you soon. Bye.